How's everybody doing today? Wanted to change directions and do a different video today. I've never been a secret about my religion, and I've made some videos before talking about my beliefs. So this is just a different change up. It's an actual book update again on some things that I'm reading. And yeah, so hope you enjoy. So basically, I'm a Christian. My practice is being a Catholic. So I go to Catholic Mass, I go to Catholic Church. Those are my beliefs. I'm not like crazy hardcore. We all unfortunately sin. Um, so, it's just about the everyday to day things that we do and, trying to make ourselves better people and be a better person and then helping each other out. So, I talk to a lot of people besides just my own friends online. And a lot of people have reached out to me and just talked about like things that I read because we all kind of read the Bible. But as we all know, if you're a Christian or a Catholic, the Bible can sometimes be boring and really confusing. So there's a lot of books that I do read, and there's a lot of things that I watch on YouTube, and just to expand my mind and I guess my way of learning. So there's a couple books that I've been reading and that I've been sharing with some people online. And I wanted to kind of show you guys. So just two of them. They are, I guess, globally in the sense as being a Christian, but it's more focused as a Catholic. But I think they're really good books. I think they're worth a read, and just be open minded. So the first one is the Seven Secrets of Confession. It's a really good book. If you are a Catholic, and even probably as a Christian, you know what the process of confession is. Confession is really a huge thing as being a Catholic. Confession is basically being truthful with yourself and being truthful with God. And it's to express every sin that you've committed and to not sugarcoat it, to say word for word what you have done that is wrong in the eyes of God, and that's against the Bible, and to confess it and to heartfelt mean it. So when you go to confession, you basically are with a father or a priest, or it could be a monk, could be a padre, anybody that is basically in that hierarchy of the church. And you confess your sins, and there's a process to it. But what I like about this book is it's not just about confession. And that's what I'm so excited about with this book. Because for me, it's everybody thinks that when you go to confession and you confess your sins, that all is forgiven and everything's okay, and then you can go back out and drink a beer or go get drunk or do drugs, or you can manipulate people and blah blah blah, and then you can just go back to confession, and it's just a cycle over and over and over, and everything is great because I just keep confessing and God forgives. God forgives. God truly does forgive and is all loving and all giving, but there's this thing called free will. And what's cool about this book, and it talks about it, is when you go to confession, when you confess your sins, when you ask for forgiveness, it has to be from the heart. You have to, I guess, understand what you are really trying to confess. You have to understand what you're trying to be sorry about. That's why you need to explain it and walk it through and everything. So it's a lot about just kind of getting in touch with yourself and just having a bigger understanding. Example, I haven't really done this, but let's say that you have a friend that you wrong, or it could be a relationship, or it could be a teacher or a coworker or whatever. In the hindsight of being forgiven, is if you manipulate somebody, or you like say you cheat on your girlfriend, you can't just go to confession and be like, Lord, forgive me for my sins, I cheated on my girlfriend, or Lord, forgive me for my sins, I was mean to somebody, and then like, cool, we're gone, we're good, like I'm gonna get into heaven. It doesn't really work like that, because what did you learn? What did it mean to you? There's a lot of things in here that talk about actually making amends. And a part of understanding and asking for forgiveness, and a part of the confession, is actually making things right. So if you wronged somebody, fix it with that person, apologize to that person, and understand what you did that was wrong. If you cheated on somebody, it's going to hurt, but you need to apologize to that person. Let them know why you cheated and really how sorry you are that you might have cheated. Then you go to confession and you basically do the same thing. It's an understanding of about basically healing the wounds and that type of stuff. So really good book. I don't want to get crazy into it, but it is and was a bestseller. It's really good because as a Catholic, confession can also be really boring for some people. And, this book just dives into so much more of the process about confession. Do you really need to confess? Do you have to go to confession? And where you can just do confession, because it doesn't always have to be at a church, which I found out. So really good book. The second book that I'm actually really dived into right now, and it's a totally different book. It's called The Devil is Afraid of Me. Okay. So basically this book, so it's called, The Devil is Afraid of Me, The Life and Work of the World's Most Famous Exorcist. So this book talks about a exorcist who was, he's passed away just recently, about a couple years ago. And he worked with, for the most part, it seems like at least approved by the Vatican, which is the main church in Catholicism. And basically he talks about his journey through the devil. It's something in our religion, I think, as being a Christian, that is really not talked about enough, is the devil. What is the devil? There's a really good chapter in here that talks about just the name of the devil. Satan, Lucifer, there's a whole bunch of things, which goes back down to the Old Testament of what the name was. What's really cool about this book is what we think about exorcisms and everything. So like the movie The Exorcist, there is like a 1% of like all exorcisms that maybe went to like that avenue where it's like that evil. Or I think there's also been like maybe just 2 documented cases of actually people dying of exorcisms. So what we really see in the movies isn't what exorcism really is. Also, exorcism isn't just about like the power of Christ compels you and, get out demon and then you're good. Like it doesn't just happen like that. There are thousands and thousands of cases that not just this father worked with, but other priests have worked with to cast out. And they take years, literally years. It can take months, it can take weeks, but it can take years for someone to actually get rid of the devil, get rid of the demon or demons, which is really key too. There are multiple demons that come into play. Also, the whole form of exorcism isn't about really a demon getting into your body, but there's other things too that come into play. Let's say you're a drug addict. He talks about basically, this book also reads kind of like an interview, which is really cool. So just FYI. But the book talks about if someone's a drug addict, in the eyes of a church, there is evil going on. You are doing harmful things to your body. God has, in the sense, given us life. So you're basically betraying God. You're harming your body. So people can be exorcised or can ask for exorcisms just to cure their drug addictions. If you're an alcoholic, people have been exorcised for that. If you just are kind of like a bad person, you bully people, there's more stories of exorcisms when it comes to that avenue of just things that you do wrong in life or you have gotten off the path, to where there's exorcisms needed. What's really cool is there's a chapter in here that talks about the 10 Commandments. And in the 10 Commandments, there is, there's a lot of different things. But the simplest things, that we sin all for is just, like unjust things towards ourselves or, basically that's not a commandment. But what I'm trying to say is when we just do stupid things, or we self-harm, or self-sabotage yourselves, or self-vile things. So I mean, he talks about everybody sins. It's not about that, but it's about the most common sins too. If people struggle with certain inappropriate addictions, that is what is called, in this book at least, the evil one manifesting themselves into you. You don't have to just hear voices or have your head spin and stuff like that. It's things that have gripped onto you and got a hold of you, could be for years, that you need an exorcism for. And also, they don't really like to talk about, or at least say, the word exorcism. There's other meanings that is just a little bit, I guess, kinder, that the church likes to do and use instead of exorcisms. But it's really cool. I really enjoyed the book. I just wanted to share that because, again, a lot of people have reached out to me and asked. We have little community talks and stuff like that. Not just my normal friends, but just anybody really that has reached out to me that like to talk about just things in regards to religion, and especially like books, and like how do I get my knowledge, like what do I think about certain things. And I like these two books because they kind of go hand in hand. One, basically, the devil infesting us with evil, so to speak, and just the normal, it just brings it down to a more normal level of just like everyday life. If you go through depression, that's one of the big things in here, is there's a lot of mental awareness, and people that think unfortunate things about themselves or want to do unfortunate things basically can ask for exorcisms or ask to be healed and prayed for. That's a huge thing too, is exorcism isn't always about, being in touch with a priest, but you can just, they do a lot of prayers. There are priests in the Catholic Church and the Christian community that just do prayers of liberation to get rid of, evil mindsets and stuff like that. And did you know too that there are also hundreds and hundreds and thousands of liberations and exorcisms that are done over the phone? That's pretty cool. And they work. So the whole thing about, in the movies and everything is really, really far-fetched because it's the movie industry. But there are like a 1% of all those cases which are really demonic in that nature, which is talked about here. So from that book, again, then goes to this book about the confession. So really, once you have had peace with yourself and have gotten rid of that evilness that's in yourself, it's kind of good to go to that book, because then you talk about actually asking for forgiveness and what really, really the true meaning of asking for forgiveness is, and the process of it, and confessing, and just making the wrongs in your life, making them right. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll probably switch up videos here and there because I like to just do things about life and what entertain me and what I like. So y'all have a great day.